Good evening and welcome to Smooch's first live video Ask the Jeweler. I'd like to welcome you all here, and if there's anybody that is interested in knowing more about the jewellery that they've bought or jewellery that indeed they're thinking about buying, then please let me know, and I'll be very happy to give you any thoughts and advice I may have. I've been a jeweller for many years now, coming up for 40, and in that time have made and set all different types of jewellery, from engagement rings, wedding rings, bracelets, bangles, and also had a lot of experience as a diamond setter, which is the setting of diamonds in all types of jewellery, and that was something that I'd done for approximately 8 years. It was a 3-year apprenticeship, and then at the grand old age of 19 I became self-employed, and then spent the next 5 years building up a small workshop of 5 setters, and working for different manufacturers of all different types, who were making different types of jewellery, and I was setting their diamonds, which was very interesting and a real learning experience. After 8 years as a diamond setter, I wanted to progress in the trade, and had decided that I wanted to go on the road, and I spent the next 15 years selling jewellery to different jewellers around the country. Okay, I've had my first question. Somebody wanted to know that their wedding ring has scratched, and is this normal? Unfortunately, this is a question that we get asked an awful lot in the company, and it seems that all precious metals do scratch. I think very often people think that platinum wouldn't scratch and perhaps 9 carat would scratch, but in fact all precious metals are soft. From one degree to another, platinum is certainly a denser material, and you can tell that by just holding it in your hand and feeling the weight difference between platinum and 9 carat. The molecules are closer together in platinum, but at the same time it is still very scratchable, very easy to scratch. The good news is that over time the scratches do disappear, and when you have the ring repolished, there are no scratches to see. It will come back exactly as it was the day you bought it, so it can always be brought back to that lovely shiny new finish that it was the day that you first fell in love with it. The scratching comes from just literally putting your wedding ring on a hard surface, whether it's a door handle, whether it's a tabletop, whether it is a bunch of keys. Anything will scratch something that is newly polished and has that unique bright finish. Unfortunately, there's nothing that doesn't scratch, and in fact even non-precious metals scratch as well. A lot of people think that titanium and cobalt, which are non-precious metals and don't carry a hallmark, don't scratch, but in fact they do, and again they can all be brought back to the same finish that they were the time that you bought the rings. I've been asked, can I get a gold wedding ring even if my engagement ring is made in platinum? Over the years, a lot of people are told that wearing a metal as a wedding ring against an engagement ring, the two rings should be made of the same material, and they're less likely to wear against each other, and in fact less likely to scratch. From my experience, which is over 40 years of selling jewellery, I have never seen that one metal will stop another one from scratching, and in fact I have not even seen that one metal will fail to rub another one away. They just do wear. All jewellery does wear. If you look at a ring that perhaps your grandmother had, which was made in platinum and could have been 60, 70 years ago, you'll see that the ring is now much, much thinner than the day that you bought it. Things do wear, and I don't believe that wearing 2 rings of different metals will in fact make a difference. I don't think they wear any quicker, and these days, with the advent of different types of white metals, a lot of people are considering buying other metals than that their engagement ring was made of. In other words, if you bought an 18 karat white gold or indeed a platinum engagement ring, we as a company are now selling a lot of palladium wedding rings, and customers are wearing those two together, and we have very, very few issues, and I've never been told that one is actually wearing another one away, or one is causing one to scratch. It seems to be very successful. This is obviously driven by price, because palladium is much less expensive than 18-karat white gold and platinum. It seems that in times of economic uncertainty, which is certainly something that we're looking at the moment with Brexit, this is having a detrimental effect on the price of your jewellery in a jewellery shop, and is causing precious metals to rise. And as that happens, obviously all items made of those precious metals are increasing, and people are finding that perhaps they're becoming less affordable. And now we're finding customers are starting to look at other options. Some non-precious metals are becoming popular, which I feel is a shame, but that's the progress that happens through market forces. And we as a company are trying to pretty much stick to selling precious metals, because we think wedding rings, engagement rings are probably the most unique things you'll buy as jewellery throughout your lifetime. We are getting a lot of new people joining us. I can see now there's quite a few people who have just recently joined, and I'm very happy to answer any questions that you may have, whether it's to do with the sort of things that we sell or other types of jewellery, whether it's to do with hallmarking, setting of jewellery, the making of jewellery, valuations of jewellery. I think over the years I've had some experience in most of these fields. I was asked if it's possible that platinum, the plating on platinum would wear off in time, and in fact platinum is slightly unique. In fact, platinum doesn't get replated. It's one of the metals that should keep its colour, and it should be a bright white colour, which should keep that colour throughout its life. But as I said earlier, it's possible, not possible, it will also scratch and will also wear, perhaps at a slower pace than other precious metals. I've been asked about how the CAD process works. CAD is a fairly new process. It stands for Computer Aided Design, and as it sounds, it is a design facility that we now have, which enables all types of jewellery to be designed on screen. I have found that what you can design on screen through a computer has improved tremendously over the last 10-12 years, and now it is astonishing what can be done from nothing, or from a scan of an item, or from a picture that's been taken. We can import an item of jewellery, add to it, or, as I've said, design from scratch. And after that process has been done, a customer can see exactly what they're going to get. It looks exactly like a finished item, even though this item has never actually been in existence. And from that, a wax model is produced, and then the ring is cast in whatever metal is required. It's quite astonishing how that's moving on, and there are quite a lot of people now in the jewellery trade who have access to the CAD design software, or have access to outside designers that can do this. I would imagine your local jewellery shop will know of somebody that can do that, and if you have some ideas in your head of ideas of what you'd like to do or have made for you, this is a great start. You know what you're going to get before it's finished. For us, it's something that has been of huge benefit in the last few years, because we can now design wedding rings around engagement rings. So often, in fact, we get 20 or so engagement rings a week in our office, where a wedding ring needs to be made around the shape of that engagement ring, because some of these engagement rings are not symmetrical and have unusual shapes. And we will then design on screen a wedding ring to go around the engagement ring. Once that item's been designed, we can then send a picture to the customer showing both the engagement ring and the wedding ring together. And if the customer approves that design, and they will know what they're going to get before it's made, we can then start the manufacturing of the piece. It's a massive benefit. I've been asked how roughly it takes to make a wedding ring to fit around an engagement ring that is a twisted band. The actual making of the ring is not massively long, because now we're using less and less handmade jewelers sitting at benches who are filing, shaping, heating wedding bands. What is done now is, as I've just explained, we import the design of an engagement ring, so we do need that engagement ring in our hands. We will then scan the engagement ring, so we have an exact image of the engagement ring on our screen. We then set about designing around that the wedding band. It all does take time, because by the time we receive the engagement ring, the design is made, the design is sent to the customer and is approved. That can all take a week, 10 days. After it's been approved, we then have to send that design away to be made. We don't actually need the engagement ring at that point, but up until now we've always felt safer having the wedding ring made and then checking, a double check, that the wedding ring and the engagement ring fit close together. Once we're happy with that, we can return the engagement ring back to the customer. We are feeling more confident now that the work that's being done means that the wedding ring will fit perfectly against the engagement ring, and more we're sending the engagement ring back before the wedding ring has been made. So we know that we're confident now that the two will fit without even a double check. It used to take us 6, 7, 8 weeks, and we needed to keep the engagement ring that sort of time, and that was because everything was made by hand, and they came out beautifully, but we're getting just as fantastic a finish in a much smaller time frame. And what's even better is that if the customer sees the design and says, actually I'd like to add some diamonds to it, or actually I'd like to remove some diamonds, or in fact, you know what, I like it in yellow gold, but I think I would perhaps look at maybe making part of the design in white gold. This is all possible, it's all changeable, it's on a computer, but the picture you will see will look like a photograph. I've been asked, is my partner's engagement ring insured? Yes, I've been asked, is the engagement ring insured with us? It certainly is. Every engagement ring that's sent to us has to obviously be fully insured, and touch wood, all the years that we've been supplying wedding bands to fit around engagement rings, we have not ever had any issues with any lost rings, thank goodness. But yes, they are all insured. I've been asked, what are the two different grades of palladium? There is a 90% pure platinum grade, and palladium. There's different grades of palladium. There's a 500 palladium, which means that the metal that we're supplying is 50% pure palladium, which is a darker grey colour, a more titanium-like colour, if you know what the colour of titanium is. We also have a 95% palladium, which is as it sounds. It's 95% pure with 5% other metals added to the mix. The reason that these other metals are added is usually due to colour or hardness that is requested or required. Some people like a different colour. This is how all precious metals have been supplied over the years, whether you're buying 9-carat gold, 18-carat gold, 14-carat gold. Not only are the other metals added to change the colour, but also for its hardness and how easy it is to work with. But yes, there's different grades of palladium. The jewellery shops were generally stocking only the 95% palladium for a number of years, but I believe they're also stocking the 50% palladium, which is less money, because palladium is another precious metal, less expensive than gold, but still of a reasonable value. I've been asked whether your own diamonds can be added to a wedding band. Yes, we at Smooch can pretty much do and make anything. We're asked all the time whether we can use diamonds from a grandmother's ring, whether in fact we can use the metal from the grandmother's ring, and whether we can add this to the ring that we're making. And we can pretty much do most things. The only thing obviously we can't guarantee when we're using other people's diamonds is that the diamond colours that we're setting into the ring will all match. In other words, if we're setting in 10 diamonds, we know if they're diamonds we're supplying, they will all match in colour and in clarity. When we're using other people's diamonds, we have no control over that, but if we think that one diamond is standing out as being slightly off colour compared to the others, we would of course let you know, and we would offer to supply one of our diamonds that would match the rest of your own. Somebody here is thinking about making an appointment. How do your prices compare to the high street? We not only feel that our prices are hugely competitive, especially if you consider the service that we're offering, because we are visiting people at home. You don't have to visit the high street, you don't have to visit the shops in the high street. We will bring to you a couple of hundred rings, which can be made in any metal, any width, any color combination, and in fact we can make to your design. If you have an idea of a design that you'd like to incorporate into your wedding ring, that's something that we are very happy to do. We charge no more money for using your own designs. We have a standard base price which incorporates, or which is based on the metal type that we're using and the width of the band. So all 6mm 9-carat yellow gold rings will be the same price, whether it's a design you give us or a design that you pick from our collection that we bring to you. Prices vary hugely from shop to shop, depending on when those wedding bands were purchased, because as metal prices rise, a ring that was purchased by the shop a year ago and still sitting in the window should be less money than one that they've bought themselves recently, and I've had experience of that myself. We generally fix our prices for 6-7 months until there's a big increase in metal prices, at which time we look whether we can keep or increase certain prices. We've recently had to increase our precious gold prices, but left the palladium prices as they were. But we know that we're fairly competitive, or pretty competitive, and we don't often have issues where customers say, oh, I could have bought that ring cheaper. We have a price match guarantee, which means that should you find a ring of less money in the shops or indeed online, if you can show to us that this was the actual specification of the item, we will price match. As I say, this happens very rarely, but we don't want to be beaten on price, and we're very happy to match a price that you've seen elsewhere. Somebody's asked me how many rings we sell a year. I can't be precise, but I can tell you it's many thousands, and we've been doing this now for 17, 18 years, and we've sold around about 100,000 rings, so an awful lot of rings. I'm just reading another one here. Very nice message here from Will, saying that they're very happy with the service they've received from us, and I appreciate that nice recommendation, so thank you, Will. Yes, it's interesting when it comes to the different types of metals and the designs that people request these years. These last couple of years, people have become much more adventurous in their ideas of what they'd like for wedding rings, and we think with modern technology we can basically incorporate most ideas and most designs onto our wedding rings. I've been asked, do we charge for an appointment? No, we don't charge anything for an appointment. In fact, there's no obligation to buy from us, obviously. Our job is to come and see you, to present to you our lovely collection, and for you to decide whether it's the right item for you, whether you think the price is competitive, and whether you like what we do and whether you like the service. We do travel all over the UK. In fact, we've got over 35 Smooch advisors from the north of Scotland to the south of England, as well as North and Southern Ireland, and we're very happy to come and see you wherever you are, and we hope you enjoy your appointment. In fact, we're in the process of putting a video on our website which shows what an appointment is like. It's no mystery. Obviously, as I've said, we arrive with a couple of hundred rings which you can sit down and give us a cup of tea whilst you look through the collection. Thank you, Kelly. Kelly's booked an appointment to see us, which is really lovely, and I'm sure you'll enjoy the experience. There's no hard sell at all. We do many appointments every week, and we make most of these appointments either through our website, through word of mouth, or through wedding shows, as we attend over 1,000 wedding shows a year all over the UK, and this is where we meet most of our customers, and they make an appointment there and then at the show, or in fact afterwards. Somebody has told us that the brother used us, and that's why they're using us. So thank you for Kelly's brother. Yes, it's something that we started many years ago, and in the beginning there was just me going out on the road, seeing customers at home. In fact, I was putting small catalogues that we used to produce before all the advent of online selling, and we used to put catalogues into envelopes and send them out to databases from wedding shows, which was a great way of getting things started, but over time things changed, and instead of just buying databases, we started attending these shows, and as I've said, we're now doing over 1,000 shows a year. And it's a great way of meeting brides, because we can tell them what we can do before we actually get out there to see them. Somebody's asked me what's the best way of booking an appointment. Well, I think there's an appointment link on just about every page of our website. If you go to smoocherings.co.uk, and you'll see on there a link to make an appointment, and we just ask for your name and address details and your postcode, and then we send that out to your local advisor, who would make contact with you. You can ask him any questions at that point and fix up a date that is convenient for you to for us to come and see you. We generally see our customers evenings and weekends, as that's obviously the most convenient time for most people, but a lot of smooch advisors are also around during the day, and I'm sure we'd be happy to come and see you either a daytime weekend, or in fact a daytime during the week. I've been asked here whether you can pay off for your wedding rings. Generally what we do is we ask for a third deposit at the time of the appointment. That then fixes the wedding ring order with us. It means that the price that you see on the night is the price that you will be paying. Even if you don't want to take delivery of your wedding rings for 1, 2, 3 years, as some of our customers do, they're very organised, and they like to get their weddings all sorted and underway, and wedding rings are obviously a part of that process. We will fix the price with them on the day that they see us. As I say, we ask for a third deposit, which can be paid in a number of ways. And then a lot of people don't want the risk of having these wedding rings sitting around their home for 2 or 3 years. So we hang on to those, and we have a date when they would like them delivered. And before that date is due, we contact the customer to inform them that we'll be posting out for delivery, which is usually on a Saturday. We have other ways of doing it, which is we can also take the deposit, and we can let you pay a little bit off every month, so that the balance is never a shock, and you can spread that payment by equal amounts over 12, 24, 36 months. It has to be paid off before the rings are sent out to you, but that's an easy way of spreading payments, and with all the other costs that are involved in making a wedding, it's just another thing that makes life a little bit easier. There's lots of people who are happy to pay in one go and pay us up front for the whole thing, which is very nice. Again, we're fixing the price, so you know exactly what you're going to pay, and you know that there's going to be no surprises. It's interesting that over the years how people are paying by slightly different methods. In the early days, it seemed to be all by credit card, and now it seems mostly people are paying by debit card. I think people have been scared off in the last 10 years of building up big debt on their credit cards, and prefer to know where they are, and they have a wedding fund, and they've been saving into that wedding fund to pay for everything for their wedding. And as I said before, wedding rings are part of that, and we're happy to provide that service. I've been asked, can we resize cleaning and polishing, etc., once the rings have been purchased? Yes. we offer two things. We offer a lifetime guarantee on your wedding rings, so that should anything happen to your wedding rings over any period in the future, if diamonds should fall out, which is a rare occurrence but does occasionally happen. Some people are slightly harder wearing on their jewellery than others, and remember, rings are worn on your hand, different to a pendant or a bracelet or a pair of earrings. A ring will always come into contact with hard metals, hard materials, and can loosen stones. So occasionally we get a diamond coming out of a band, occasionally we get a ring that's slightly bent out of shape, or in fact, as I've said earlier, a ring will scratch. We are happy to get that ring back to the condition it was in when you bought it from us, however many years ago that was, and we will do that for free. And that's something that I don't know of any other jewellery shop, although we're not a shop, I don't know of any other jewellery company that offers that facility, but that's something that we do. So it's a repolishing and resizing service that we offer. So not only are we guaranteeing the rings for life, but we're also saying that should you find that the rings are feeling tight over the years, which occasionally happen, I can't imagine why a ring should feel tight, but if that happens, then of course we're happy to resize the ring up or down, and to repolish the rings also free of charge. We have customers that send the rings back once a year to us to repolish, or once every couple of years to repolish, and that's something as an ongoing process we're happy to do. Some people are quite hard on how they wear their rings, but as I said, the great thing about precious metals is that in a 15-20 minute buff job in a workshop, the ring will come back as it was the day you bought it. And I think people are pretty much amazed at the condition that they come back in, can't believe that it can look as beautiful as it did maybe 5 years ago when they bought their rings from us. So I'll tell you a little bit more about us as a company. We've been doing this, as I've said, for 18 years. We see people at home, as I now know you're all aware. We are trying to keep up with all modern trends for wedding rings, and also the CAD design software that we've recently talked about, that up until recently we've been giving out to outside companies to do for us. We are now training and learning how to do that process in-house. Hopefully that will enable us to offer an even quicker turnaround on the design, and for our customers to be able to approve them so that we can get on and make that wedding band. It's something that I think is the most exciting advent that I've seen in the jewellery trade for many years. Obviously, once the wedding ring has been cast, all the finishing of that wedding band still has to be done by hand. So whether it's a polishing process, whether it's a diamond cut pattern, whether it's a hand engraved design, or whether it's setting diamonds into the band, this still has to all be done by hand, and we have some very experienced and expert workers who can do that sort of thing for us. I'm going to have a break now for 5 minutes, have a glass of water while my throat's a little bit dry, and then I'll come back on and see if there's more people who have questions for me, but I'll speak to you in a few minutes. Thanks very much.